Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall Psychic all the way from the Gold Coast. It's absolutely a perfect day here. It's our autumn. Getting a little bit chilly of a morning, but still perfect during the day. Look, I just want to kick the show off and say what an amazing royal wedding on the weekend. You know, our congratulations go out to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. I mean, a beautiful couple. They looked stunning. The wedding was absolutely to die for. I really did sit glued to the TV all day, which is very rare for me to sit still long enough, but I watched every special there was on them leading up to the royal event. And here's my little prediction. I think the two of them are going to live very happily ever after. I think we're going to see some world-breaking events concerning this young couple, where I feel that they're going to catapult the royal family into the 21st century in a different sort of way. We're going to see a more humanitarian input there. We're going to see them really tackle some of the world's biggest issues like mental health issues, children obesity, children's issues, children being hurt and maimed or taken for slavery and things like that around the world. I think they're really going to get behind, and that's just a few of the causes that I can see. And I'm also going to predict that there will be a couple of new little royals running around the palace before too long as well too. So that's, it was a lovely event. And for those of you that don't really understand why everybody made such a hullabaloo, it is a big deal because it's the first time in a very, very long time in history where we've seen the royals break with tradition and their old pomp and ceremony and allow love to reign supreme. And that's the important thing. Love is what makes the world go round, not money. It's always love. So that's the answer to every question. So kicking the show off, as we always do, with the Simply Tarot card of the week. This week, my choice of card, or the card that I pulled out of the deck, was the Page of Pentacles. Now, the Page of Pentacles can be a young woman up to the age of 25 years. More often than not, when it comes out in a reading, it's the secondary meaning. And the secondary meaning is a student, male or female. Now, we're all students of life. We all continue to learn. We all continue to grow each and every day. And I think it's a very sad day if you can't say that you learnt something today. I always work on that principle that I try and learn or incorporate or practice something new every single day because I believe that keeps us growing. It stops us from becoming stale. And I'm a firm believer in keeping the mind alert and active as possible. So that's our card of the week. Try and do something new for the next 7 days. Set yourself a little challenge, even if it's only mastering something that other people take for granted, other things that people think are simple, like joining up to a social media account. And that might be extremely overwhelming for you. I know it was for me when I first started. And, it's we've all got to embrace the technology and the fastness of the planet. So try something new this week. So let's keep the show moving fairly quickly at a hurtling pace because we've got a few things to get through this week. Now, we normally work with a candle of the week, and I'm not going to not work with the candle of the week. This week I've chosen the candle of the week to be the travel candle. Now, the reason why I picked the travel candle is I think we're all on the journey of life. We might not all be packing our bags going somewhere exotic and luxurious and in the sunshine where I like to go and other people like to go to the snow. But it is the candle of us journeying through life, I feel, and we all are on that journey of life. So at different times in our lives, we may need a little bit of extra push. We may need that little bit of oomph. Maybe we're running out of energy, where we sort of feel, look, life is getting really difficult. I'm really fed up with the journey of life at the moment because I feel overwhelmed. I feel as if I've got too many things on my plate. Well, this is the candle you would burn for that. It just sort of smooths the pathways. It's a gentle fragranced candle. It will enable you to sort of just exhale and relax and just let the world go by a little bit while you catch up. For those of you that may be planning a very big trip or the trip of a lifetime, this would be the sort of candle that you would take with you to ensure that your travels are safe. But it's just a very nicely fragranced, very simple sort of candle that enables you a candle that you can burn at any time throughout the year. So, of course, we have our travel pack for those of you that might be travelling or want to give them as a gift. They do come in a gift box of 3. You can choose any 3 that you like from our range of 28 on the website. For those in Australia, we do offer free postage. For our friends overseas, unfortunately, we can't offer that, but we do offer a flat fee. So my suggestion is if you want 2 or 3 products, save your pennies up, get them all in one go, and it is just a flat fee for the whole amount of your purchase. So candles, as we've established before, I'm always mentioning please put something underneath your candle. Don't burn it on the furniture, always put a coaster or a plate or something beneath the candle before you actually burn it. That's always my suggested course of action. And when if you don't want to use a candle, you can use a melt warmer or a wax warmer. I picked one of these up at the supermarket for less than $20 here in Australia. And this is a good way of any residue candle wax that you have left over, you can put in your melt warmer. Or if you don't feel that you can have a flame going with a candle, you can just take the wax out of your candle, put half a teaspoonful in your melt warmer and put that on, and that's a much safer way. So when we're working with candles, we work with writing down what we might want to bring into our lives in the next 7 days. And we also ask that you burn your candle between 15 minutes to 2 hours on a daily basis for the next 7 days. But with your melt warmer, you do the same thing. You pop the information underneath the melt warmer, light your melt warmer, say it out loud what you want to bring in. And that will then, you can safely leave that and walk around the house or walk around the office or whatever you might be. And it's a very safe alternative to burning a candle. So this week I want to look at our famous person, and we're working our way around the zodiac in working with a sign each 2 weeks. So we kicked it off with our first male singer was David Cassidy. Last week we followed it up with Diana Ross for the female in Aries. This week we're moving to the Taurian male, and I'm really excited to talk about this person. I've been a huge fan of this man since I was a very, very, very little girl, and it was the very, very first prize I ever won in my whole entire life, and I think I was 8 or 9, and I won a single called For Once in Your Life. Yes, we are talking about the one and the only Stevie Wonder. And when I started to do the research on Stevie, I had tears rolling down my face because I've had such admiration for this man ever since I was 8 years old. That was a couple of years ago now. And it was interesting as I started to learn more and more about him. I knew he was blind. I didn't realise that he was blind not long after birth. So that makes his journey even more significant and even more special. And Stevie Wonder was a child prodigy. You know, there's only one word you can say: brilliant. This man is brilliant through and through and through. And he started his recording career at the age of 13. Now, 13 is incredibly young. You're not really a little child, but you are a teenage child, but you're certainly not an adult. And to be signed to a label like Motown at the age of 13 shows what everybody saw in this man. They saw the brilliance. They saw the opportunity. They saw that this man was going to go places. To date, he's had over 30 US top 10 hits. He's had 25 Grammys. But I think there's a lot of things that people don't really understand about Stevie Wonder. And probably as I got a little bit older and got more into music, I was really impressed with the way that he tackled issues. And some of his albums were really controversial, where he addressed the issues connected to the African American community, and he wrote gutsy, hard-hitting lyrics that people sort of bought the albums, I think, because they liked the catchy tune and probably really didn't sit down and listen to the words. But I certainly did. And they were some of my favourite albums. There was one particular album that, Living for the City, the songs on it, and I wore out 3 actual vinyl records by just constantly having that on the turntable, that particular album. And it's still one of my favourite albums today that I quite often put on the turntable and listen to, because I still believe it's relevant to today's society. But back in 1980, Stevie Wonder started a new fight. He started a fight to get the recognition and a public holiday in the US of A for Martin Luther King, for Martin Luther King's birthday holiday. And that was something that would have taken him a lot of effort, a lot of arguments, a lot of people would have been for and against it. But let's be very pleased that he did manage to do that. And his work still lives on. He's still alive. He's still with us. He's still writing and performing and making wonderful music. And I know here in Australia, he's very, very highly regarded, and I know a lot of our top entertainers here really look up to Stevie Wonder and feel very privileged to have either covered some of his songs or had the opportunity to work with him. And that's an amazing feat. So next week we'll have our female Taurian, and I'm doing famous singers because I want you to see how the determination or how they work within their star signs and what makes them so special. But we certainly do take our hats off to Stevie Wonder, an inspiration to us all worldwide. So moving along with our little bit of our Some say superstition is the funkiest song of all time, my producer says, due to the bass line. Yeah, I would agree with that. I like Superstition too. I don't think there's a song that Stevie Wonder's sung that I don't like. So he has an amazing voice. So moving on with our astrology lesson, we have a little mini astrology lesson. This week I'm just going to focus on the sun's just gone into Gemini, so that's the change of the guard, the change of the season, if you want to look at it that way. When the sun moves into Gemini every year, we find that this is when we start to become feeling very, very restless. No matter what your star sign is, you might be finding it difficulty sleeping. You might feel as if you're feeling quite nervous, or if your nerves are frazzled, or some people might feel as if, they don't feel like they're in their body, as if sort of, they've got the shakes, or, they're having low blood sugar moments, things like that. Yes, you could possibly be having some low blood sugar moments, but quite often it's the change of the energy. And because Gemini is an air sign, it sort of electrifies everything. It's a time of great light bulb moments where we get great inspiration, thought moments that happen. For heaven's sake, have your phone close, put it down on a voice recording or a pad and pen if you're old-fashioned like me and you love to write it down, just so you don't lose those light bulb moments. But it's also a time when we are restless and we are looking at things in our lives and saying, what will I keep? What will I get rid of? For those of us in the southern hemisphere, we're heading towards winter where it's getting quite cold, so we're all sort of thinking of snuggling inside now. For those of our dear friends in the northern hemisphere, you're thinking of removing the layers and getting out into the sunshine. So it is an integral part of the year where we are making these changes. And I don't want you to waste this 30-day, time of activity, of hype and bustle and whatever. Don't necessarily make decisions, but sort of, have some thoughts, have things happen, get out and about, meet people, talk, do things different, allow things to be what they need to be. You are allowed to say, I don't know, or I'm not ready to commit to something, or I don't know what I'm doing on the weekend because I haven't thought that far. That's okay. You're allowed to be a little bit evasive at this time of the year. So over the coming weeks, of course, we'll focus on other areas connected with astrology. But just a little gentle reminder, we've got planet Chiron, which is the wounded healer, is in Aries. So he or she is asking us to look at what areas of our lives do we feel wounded or do we need to heal in ourselves. And that's a slow process. It's not something that can be done overnight. So make sure you take it back to self first before you look at anybody else. You must fix yourself before you can fix others around you. It's a little bit like being on a plane. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you help others. And I think that's a very good analogy. But we also have, as we spoke about last week, we've got the planet Uranus has just moved into Taurus. He'll be there for 8 years. So again, it's the focus coming back to self. This is going to be more about looking at what our value systems are, our personal finances, and really sort of setting down some good boundaries or some good things going forward, some rules that we want to live by, things that, are important to us. So we've got a lot of homework, all of us at the moment, around the planet with so much astrological stuff moving along. So we really do need to be focusing on ourselves and our value systems and our personal finances. But most importantly, I think about being honest and truthful with ourselves and learning to say no to people and situations that no longer suit us or serve us. So we're going to take our first caller, and it is Cynthia in Blankhurst, Texas. Are you there, Cynthia? How can I help you, sweetie?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sweetie. Do you have a question for me, darling?
Yes. I have an upcoming court event coming, and I was wondering if maybe you could give me some advice because I'm really scared, and it has a lot to do with corruption in the law. So.
Okay. The first sign that they showed me, Cynthia, was this was going to be the finish of this. Like there was not going to be an ongoing thing. Like I feel we're going to wrap this up. So that's a positive. That finally we can say that we will be able to get this closed off, put in the past, so that you can move on with your life. Look, I feel that the best thing I probably can suggest to you, and everybody else has probably said this to you, is just relax. There's nothing's going to be gained by you being frightened, nervous, upset or worried about whatever's going to be is going to be anyway. You just have to tell the truth. As long as you're truthful and do to the best of your ability, there's nothing more that can be asked of you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel that you're in any sort of trouble, and I don't feel that, once this is all over, you're going to wonder why you were so concerned. So I hope that helps you, does it?
Yeah, well, there's another problem though. When I have my husband was murdered and nothing's been done about it, so I feel like I'm being trapped.
Right.
So,
when you say nothing's been done about it, what, you don't feel that the investigation has progressed enough that you've got answers, or?
well, nothing's been done about it. He was murdered. He got away with it. And I actually had another psychic tell me that maybe the police were involved in it. I mean, or they were impersonating the police. And, I mean, you know, so, I mean, nothing's been done about it. And I keep pushing the issue with it. And this will be 11 years coming up that he's been passed away. And I feel like with this court event going on that they're trying to trap me and just, like, maybe keeping my mouth shut.
Yeah. Look, I can't comment on another psychic's work, but I can only comment on what I was being shown, and I'm assuming that was coming direct from your husband, where he was telling me that there was nothing that you need to be concerned about. It is going to be finished. We are finally going to get answers. So even though you don't feel like anything's being done, I'm seeing a flurry of activity behind the scenes going on that they're not privy to share with you at this point. Let me assure you, I don't think that this has gone into a cold case or nothing's been done. And I didn't feel as if there'd been any cover-up. I do feel that they've been evasive and haven't shared everything with you, but I suppose that's their prerogative too, as being law enforcers. There is going to be answers, and there will be somebody that will be held accountable for your husband's murder. Your husband keeps telling me, though, to tell you that he was in the wrong place. Now, I don't know what he means by that, whether, you know, it was bad timing. That's all he shared with me, is he was in the wrong place.
In the wrong place.
It's not the sort of type of show, sweetie, where, you know, they'll come through from the other side with a lot of detail because we've got such a limited time. And, you know, sometimes they don't want everything shared with the rest of the world either. You know, you've got to understand that your husband is still a very private sort of person. So that's the message he's given to me to share with you. I believe that you are going to get results out of this and you will find peace. That's what he keeps sharing with me.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, sweetie. Thank you. Bye-bye. So we're going to go to Ronnie in Clinton, Alabama, USA. Are you there, Ronnie?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. How are you?
Very, very well. I apologise if I pronounced your name wrong. How can I help you tonight?
Well, I was just calling in. There was a few questions. I have two questions in particular that I'm hoping that you can give me a little guidance in. One specifically is in regards to my relationship, and the other is a issue that's been going on within my family. I was going to see if you might have any feelings as to how that problem is going to work out, or if it ever will work out.
Okay, they're taking me to the family issue to begin with. I know that was the second question you asked, but I have to go where they're taking me. They're showing me that there's still a number of question marks around the family issue. Now, I'm getting 3 question marks, and I've got a fourth one that's sort of wavering all over the place. So I can only assume from that, was there 3 people involved, possibly 4? Is this why they're showing them to me as question marks versus people?
Correct.
Okay. They're still showing me that look, it's not impossible. I do feel that we are going to get some resolutions. I still think there's some crosswords or some heated words to come out yet. Is there a family gathering or somebody's special event or something in August? They keep showing me the month of August as sort of like this is all going to come to a head in August. But I felt that there was a room full of people in August.
Yes, ma'am. We were going to have a family reunion this weekend, and I had battled back and forth about whether to invite this one, my sister and her family, and we actually decided not to have it this weekend. We're going to reschedule. We haven't rescheduled it yet, but it could be August.
Okay. Well, that's what they were showing me. They were showing me an 8, so I'm assuming it was August. It might be 8 weeks, but, you know, whatever it is, I feel this will be the thing that will bring it to a head, and I think we need to go ahead with this. Look, I don't know that everybody's going to be completely happy with the outcome, but what I'm going to say is it's going to be a lot better than what it is now, and I think we can slowly start to put the family back together piece by piece. So that's a good thing. Everybody's still entitled to their opinion, and nobody's right or wrong. Everybody's still, entitled to whatever. But I think the important thing is here is we've got to glue the family back together again like Humpty Dumpty and try and make it work. That's the important thing. Now, let's go on to your relationship. It's really interesting because every time I sort of go to the relationship, it's like I want to say the tide comes in, the tide goes out, the tide comes in, the tide goes out. So I'm not sure how to interpret that. Is whether, are we not making any progress? Is that how you're feeling?
Well, I'm involved with someone. We've been seeing each other since 2009, and it's been a rocky road. But, even after everything that we've gone through, all the challenges we've faced, we're still moving on. And so, but we're not really going any further. I have a commitment, but I haven't got the commitment that I want. And
yeah, that's why they were showing me the tide going in and out, like we're not making any progress, like it's coming in, it's going out, it's coming in, it's going out. Yeah, okay. Look, I think by the end of this year, if you haven't got the commitment that you want by the end of this year, and I'm being very generous with the timeline here, I feel then some serious decisions have got to be made. Look, it's not that I don't think the other person wants the commitment. I'm just not sure that they know how to go about it. It's like they've put up every excuse, every roadblock, every reason for why it can't be this week or next month or next year. But there's got to come a time when we draw a line under it and say this is the final time, like this is decision time. It's either that or we may as well go our own separate ways, because you're actually holding each other back from getting on with your lives. If this drags out for another 2 or 3 years, then that's 12 years you've wasted out of your life. That's too long to be waiting for somebody. I appreciate people have issues in their lives that need to be resolved, or, we need to wait for certain events to happen, but it can't go on indefinitely. Look, I'm not saying the other person doesn't love you. I do believe they do. I think it's more a fear thing that holds them back. And I think it's a fear of, what if I mess it up? Nobody knows that, do we? We all go into situations and relationships. It is a gamble. Nobody knows the outcome, but we've got to try. If we don't try, we miss out on so much. And I feel what's happening now is the two of you are missing out on so much love and so much, joy together by this lack of commitment.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. But look, I'm not saying it won't work. I'm just saying you need to be very firm on a timeline so that, you make sure that you let the other person know that like this is crunch time. There's no more excuses. Like we have to have some sort of, plan ahead by, the end of the year or the end of October, whatever you decide on. I mean, I wouldn't make it too short a timeline. You've waited this long, but, that's got to be, that's it then. Then you've got to make some decisions for you then, because you can't be on your own forever. That's not fair. You've got too much love to give.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. And do you have time for one more question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I lost my father in October of 2001. We didn't have, my life has changed tremendously since he's passed on. Before he passed away, I was on a bad road, making very, very bad decisions in my life. I rebelled against my family, and since my father's death, that's been a changing point in my life, and I'm a different person now than what I was then. To some extent now, I feel like he never knew what I have become. Do you do a bit of channeling to see if my father...
He has. He does know what you've become. That's the one thing about them going through to the other side, Ronnie, is that they are able to be with us. They see everything that goes on in our day-to-day lives down here on Earth, even though they're not physically here with us. I can assure you, your father's sitting up there with the biggest smile on his face. He is so very proud. His chest is out. He's, beating his chest like Tarzan, saying, "Look at my son go."
Yes, ma'am.
He is very proud.
Thank you very
much.
I appreciate the information.
That you don't need to be concerned about anything, and ask him for help. Have a conversation with him of a night. Ask him out loud. Ask him to help you with the relationship. Tell him, it's time, Dad. Now I need someone in my life permanently, and let him help you because he's there to help. Anyway, it was lovely to talk to you. We've come to the end of the show again. The show does go quickly. If you want to sort of purchase any of my products or book a private reading with me, head to my website, www.amandahallpsychic.com.au. And don't forget to type in the coupon box radio in capital letters, where you'll get a little bit of an extra special discount. So we'll have the usual format on next week's show. I really look forward to working with you all again next week. And for those of you in Texas, our hearts do go out to you with the loss of more children. It's really such a sad time. I don't know where it's going to stop. I don't know what else we can say other than we're all here with you, and we're sending you healing and love and those special little angels that have gone through to the other side. It breaks my heart. So until next week, keep smiling. Have a great week wherever you are on this amazing planet of ours. And we'll be working with the full moon in Sagittarius next week. I look forward to working with you then. So have a great week. Keep smiling. And our very, very best wishes to the royal couple. Bye for now.